For latest updates and short audio clips, follow us on Instagram, Reading the Author.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast Reading the Author, a unique show where we read authors' mind and not their book. Meanwhile, I truly believe and pray that you and your families are completely safe and healthy as well. Guys, today we have Rajesh Talwar sir with us, and he's the author of altogether 43 books. And the book about which we will be talking about in this episode is known as The Witch, the Princess and the Tower of Doom. By the way, it's the latest released. Thank you so much sir for coming on our show. I'm truly grateful कि आपने हमारे show को चुना.
Thank you, Gaurav. I think we are meeting after quite some time, but I remember that the last episode was an interesting one, and we had many people who watched it.
Definitely sir. For the audience who don't know, like 2023 में भी हमने सर के साथ एक एपिसोड रिलीज किया था, and अगर आप चाहें तो आप उसे भी जाके सुन सकते हैं. By the way, this will be also very interesting. So sir, like first of all, thank you so much for choosing us once again. And for talking for the people who will be very new to this podcast, so can you share like about your journey and how you started this writing thing?
Okay, well, it actually started, I suppose you could say it started in school, because in school, I was not a very good student. I was somewhere in the middle of the class in most of the subjects. But when we, in the 9th class, they introduced an extra paper called just essay.
Okay.
So that was, the students just had to write an essay and the essays would be discussed. So suddenly, I started coming at the top of the class. And the teachers were also surprised. I was also surprised. Of course, I was a great reader at a young age, so that would have helped. But the teachers were surprised because I was generally at the back of the class. And I was surprised because I also didn't expect that I would do so well. So, but it gave me a sense that maybe I can write well. And there used to be a magazine in those days called Junior Statesman. So while in school, I wrote a couple of pieces which were published in JS magazine.
Wow.
And then I didn't write anything for many years till I became a lawyer. When I became a lawyer in the courts, I found many things that were wrong in the legal system. And I started to write about them in newspapers. Economic Times, Patriot, Pioneer, different newspapers. And then by chance, I got in touch with a publisher who said, well, why don't you write a book for us, how-to book on making whales. So this was Orient Paperbacks Vision Books, and they were the best publisher for these kind of self-help, financial-related books. So I wrote something for them, and that book did very well. It became a bestseller. And so then you could say that my writing journey started then, and then I started writing other things, not only self-help. I tried my hand at a play, at a novel, and then, different genres I began to explore. So earlier in that time, one of the books which I wrote was very favorably reviewed by Khushwant Singh.
Wow. Okay.
So then I got, I think, hundreds and hundreds of letters from different parts of the country. Some Supreme Court judges also called me. So that was a very big encouragement for me. And yes. So that's when you could say my career started. And then since then, I've been just writing on and off, but regularly.
Okay. No, that's it. So, sir, after listening to this podcast, many people will just love to explore your book and they might be interested in buying and reading it too. So, talking from a new reader's perspective, like what a new reader can expect from your book, like the latest one about which we're talking.
Well, I think we have children's writers have disappointed Indian audiences as well as international audiences. So, for example, if you see our there are many Indian writers who write adult fiction, and they are globally renowned people. For example, just to take one example, Shashi Tharoor is there. Then there is Amitabh Ghosh. There's Amitabh Kumar. There's Arundhati Roy. So there are innumerable people who've written novels and who are known internationally. But what is the reason why we still don't have an Indian children's author who is known internationally? And I think this is a failure on the part of the publishing system, or failure on the part of Indian writers, and it has also something to do with an overload of morality. We are very too moral sometimes in our children's literature, seeking to push instructions and values down their throat. But I believe the time has come, and there's no reason why Indian writing for children should go beyond our shores and be recognized and applauded the world over. It may not necessarily happen with this book, but I hope that it does happen with any other writer. India is moving ahead on the global stage in many ways, and Asia is rising. Our literature should also rise. And by the way, our ancient Indian literature, which was targeted at young audiences, things like Panchatantra, Jatak Tales, they went global. We were the storyteller to the world. And it's a shame that our children's stories should not reach all corners of the globe.
So, sir, my next question to this podcast is after listening to this podcast, as we will be releasing on social media as well. So, probably the audience which will be already following you will also be interested in listening to this. And as you have completed this 43rd book, it is now released, you are someone who is not going to stop any soon, what I felt from from the last conversation and from this as well. So what they can expect from you as of now? Are you writing something, you want to experiment a bit on some other genres, you want to stick to these only? What's upcoming? What's in the pipeline?
There are a number of books in the pipeline. As an author, I like to stretch myself, and I have so far not written very much in the spiritual genre. So definitely I would like to write something which is related to mind, body, spirit. And so that's something. And then I have not so far written a detective novel. So only thing I'm deciding is whether I should write a children's detective novel or an adult detective novel. So that is also in the pipeline. And then there is a novel which is on the partition of the country, which because as you know that in 2 years, in 2027, we will have the anniversary of our partition. So maybe a novel to be released in 2027 which speaks of the partition. I should also add that I have a book coming out next month also, or next to next month, which will be a translation of one of my English books for children. So we were just discussing with the publisher. The English title was called The Boy Who Wrote a Constitution. And did very well. It was on the struggles of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And since it did so well, the publisher was keen that we should take out a Hindi version.
Okay.
So in October, you can expect to see एक लड़का जिसने संविधान लिखा.
Okay.
So that is just a few weeks away.
Okay. That's quite interesting, sir. So, sir, out of a curiosity, I just want to ask you that, as of now, what I feel that publishing has become much more easier because we have KDP, self-publishing, lots of literary agents, and, traditional is always there. But asking from you, as you have published these 43 books in the row, so which has been much easier for you, or which you would recommend to people go for, when it comes to?
Well, there are pluses and minuses. Thank you for that question. There are problems with the big publishers also. For example, I have a friend of mine. She published an excellent book with HarperCollins.
Mm-hmm.
And HarperCollins is one of the big names.
True.
But she was complaining to me that they took 3 years to publish it. So she kept on waiting, kept pushing them, and then they, took 3 years. And sometimes publishers disappoint you with the budget they put for publicity.
Myself, I published with a big name, Hay House, a book on the Nirvana case. But the editor told me they didn't spend enough time on post-publicity. And sometimes you find even somebody big like Vikram Seth. Vikram Seth, one of his books, which was published by Penguin, that was out of print. He was very upset. They said, well, your poetry is not selling and we have a big stock. So then he had to take up the issue. So big publishers can also be disappointing. And of course, they take much more time. Sometimes they can keep you hanging on for a long time. So there is a plus and minus with both. But the bigger issue is, I think, that even you can't trust big publishers to spot talent. For example, take the latest Booker Prize winning collection of short stories, Heart of Lamb, The Heart Lamb. That's been published by a British charity. So it was sent to Indian publishers, the top publishers, but nobody thought of publishing it. So it was published by a British charity, then it won the Booker Prize. And now, of course, everybody went after the author. And something similar happened with Gitanjali Shri also, who wrote something some years ago. Again, she published with a charity. So I think the publishers, they keep congratulating themselves, but they're not able to really spot new talent.
I also agree on that, sir, because when it comes to traditional, first the author, whoever is debuting in this industry, they just want to go for traditional. But at least what I feel ki if the script or if the first few chapters or whatever they are asking for, if that is not even selected, you can just give a mail ki okay, at least a no, that has to be there. Because people, I have authors who have kept waiting for many years, like a couple of years, 3 or 4 years, and there was absolutely no reply. So what I expect that at least, give a reply. I definitely know that you are a big publisher or you have a traditional publishing house and that's all. But the person who have already, submitted that, you also have some courtesy for them, na? If the reading or if the manuscript is not selected, just go with a no. Simply type that and in that case, लोगों को भी आराम हो जाएगा कि उन्हें पता रहेगा कि नहीं बुक वहां से पब्लिश नहीं होने वाली.
बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हो, because that way I have to say comment the British. Our Indians are like the Americans. अगर आप ब्रिटिश एजेंट को लिखेंगे या ब्रिटिश पब्लिशर को लिखेंगे, 9 out of 10 टाइम वो जवाब जरूर देंगे.
Exactly.
हाँ, अब अमेरिकन जवाब नहीं देते और इंडियंस भी जवाब नहीं देते. मैं अभी आपको वो बता रहा था कि खुशवंत सिंह जी ने एक रिव्यू निकाली थी. तो मैंने वही किताब 8-10 और न्यूज़पेपर्स को भेजी थी. किसी भी एडिटर ने ये जवाब भी नहीं दिया. खुशवंत सिंह जी का जवाब भी आया, उनका पोस्ट कार्ड आया कि मैं इसको अपने कॉलम में लूंगा with malice towards one and all. और शायद उनका जो रिव्यू था that was more powerful and impressive than अगर किसी बड़ी अखबार में छपा होता. Because his column was syndicated in maybe 200 newspapers,
Wow.
So and he had the courtesy to reply, whereas the others didn't have the courtesy even to reply. So that's unfortunate. ये तो फिर हमारी गलती है, खुद की गलती है.
बिल्कुल sir. So sir, as of now, what's your current writing schedule? How do you manage, what's your schedule? Every day you devote some hours to writing, or it's random, someday you get some thought, you just jot it down on the phone, on a diary, and after that you elaborate? How does it goes with you?
Well, I write every day. Actually मेरे साथ जो लोग कई राइटर्स हैं वो कहते हैं कि उनको राइटिंग ब्लॉक हो जाता है. पर मेरे साथ ऐसा नहीं हुआ अभी तक, टच वुड. बल्कि मेरे साथ दूसरी समस्या है कि मैं लिखते लिखते थक जाता हूँ. Then I tell myself कि अरे यार बैक एक हो जाएगी, गर्दन में बल पड़ जाएगा.
Mhm.
So let me just take a break. So, and this has been the situation for many years, even when I was with the UN. But UN में मेरा अभी भी UN के लिए मैं consultancy करता हूँ.
Mhm.
But I'm not on a 9 to 5 job with them. But even when I was with the UN, I used to take out time to write something early in the morning or late at night. उस समय मेरा schedule थोड़ा different था. जो ज़्यादा imaginative work है that I used to do on the weekend. और जो non-fiction work है that I used to do even during a day when I'm taking on lots of official work.
So, sir, as you have completed almost like in which year the first book was released, sir?
Sorry?
In which year your first book was released?
My first book was released in 91. That was a book on making wills. It was a self-help book published by Orient Paperback. And soon after that, this other book, The Judiciary on Trial, was published. यहाँ पे मैं mention करना चाहूँगा, which as a kind of encouragement to other writers, that आप royalty की चिंता मत करिए, because कई दफा और benefits होते हैं. मसलन मेरी जो दूसरी किताब थी जुडिशरी ऑन ट्रायल, वो हार्डबैक में निकली थी. तो उस किताब की वजह से मुझे नॉटिंघैम का एक स्कॉलरशिप मिला था.
अच्छा.
हाँ, तो नॉटिंघैम ब्रिटिश काउंसिल ने मुझे बुलाया. आई हैड टेकन बोथ माय बुक्स विद मी. आई पुट देम इन विद द एप्लीकेशन एंड देन व्हेन दे इंटरव्यूड मी, they were very impressed with the books and they said, we are going to give you a scholarship. You can tell us you want to go to Nottingham or you want to go to Essex.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that scholarship at that time was worth about 15 lakhs. So, अब 15 lakhs की scholarship मिल जाए.
बिल्कुल.
So books can benefit you in many ways. Royalty is not the only thing. मुझे यहाँ से कितनी royalty मिल जाती है?
Definitely.
50,000, 1 lakh, that would have been also a very big number. But I got something much better.
15 लाख होने में तो कई साल लग जाते हैं. But still, in fact, वो opportunity भी नहीं थी. Money is different thing, but that opportunity is something really appreciable.
Sure. बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं. बल्कि मेरे पास अगर खुद के भी 15 लाख होते, तो मैं कुछ खर्चता नहीं है. I would say कि अरे ये सारे पैसे कैसे उड़ा दूं मैं.
Exactly.
I would have needed to have about 50 lakhs to have invested 15 lakhs in going to Nottingham and doing a master's there.
Okay. So, sir, probably my next question to this podcast is like, इतने साल से सर इतनी किताबों लिखने के बाद, let's say, because the background is कि I have been in conversation with more than 450 to 500 authors as of now. And most of them are trying to be known or remembered as a certain genre or certain type of author. So when it comes to you, have you ever thought about कि आज से अगर 1-2 साल बाद भी कोई देखता है क्योंकि it's a new book by Rajesh sir and उसने आपकी बहुत सारी और किताबें पढ़ी हुई हैं. So what impact you want to create on that reader's mind क्योंकि it has to be like that, the vibe will be like that, it must be on that topic or it has to be, something like that. So कभी सोचा इस बारे में from a personal branding perspective?
Well, I think, मेरे को तो लगता है कि अनफॉर्चुनेट है कि लोग स्पेशलाइज करते हैं. बिकॉज अगर आप देखें हिस्ट्री में जाके देखें तो 16th century, 17th century लोग पेंटिंग भी करते थे, स्कल्पचर भी करते थे, साइंस भी करते थे. इस तरह की आर्टिफिशियल डिविजन्स नहीं थे. और कई जो बहुत प्रसिद्ध राइटर्स हैं, दे आर अपसेट विद देयर ओन सक्सेस. फॉर एग्जांपल, सब लोग जानते हैं कि Arthur Conan Doyle means Sherlock Holmes. लेकिन Arthur Conan Doyle was disappointed कि उनकी जो बाकी राइटिंग है वो इग्नोर हो रही है. तो कई दफा ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो जाता है कि the reader likes you in a particular genre and limits the author. ऐसा ही कहते हैं कि अगाथा क्रिस्टी की सबसे फेवरेट डिटेक्टिव मर्डर मिस्ट्रीज जो हरकुल पोआहो या पोयरो, एक बेल्जियन डिटेक्टिव का कैरेक्टर था. शी वॉज वेरी अनॉयड विद दिस कैरेक्टर, बट पब्लिशर्स की डिमांड थी आप यही लिखिए. तो I think the voice should come from inside. Market forces को आप ignore नहीं कर सकते, but don't be led only by market forces.
In fact, what I feel, sir, that sometimes अगर हम कोई image portray कर लेते हैं, same as you said, कि अगर हमारा मन नहीं भी है ना, but हमारी वो image ऐसी बन चुकी है कि हमें वो काम करना पड़ रहा है. So that has to be, I guess, the versatility and the authenticity has to be there. बाकी आप कुछ भी लिखें, लोगों को पसंद आएगा.
बिल्कुल, there should be authenticity. कई दफा people fall victims of their own success. For example, John Grisham इतने सक्सेसफुल राइटर हैं, उन्होंने बड़ी कोशिश की लिटरेरी नॉवल लिखने के लिए, बट लोगों ने कहा आप रहने दीजिए, आप बस थ्रिलर में ही रहिए. लिटरेरी नॉवल आप अच्छी लिख भी लेंगे तो कितनी बिकेगी? So they were not really interested. लेकिन इसका विपरीत भी होता है. जो मारियो पूजो हैं, जिन्होंने गॉडफादर लिखी, he was a struggling author for many years. बल्कि उनके ब्रदर थे न्यूयॉर्क में, वो उनका खर्चा उठाते थे. तो एक इंटरव्यू में उन्होंने कहा कि भाई मेरी 3-4 किताबें बड़ी तारीफ हुई उनकी, न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स ने भी कहा, लेकिन कोई भी किताब 2000 कॉपी से ज्यादा नहीं बिकी. फिर मैं 40 साल का होने वाला था, मैंने कहा मारियो, ग्रो अप एंड सेल आउट. तो फिर मैंने गॉडफादर का एक ड्राफ्ट बनाया और अपने एजेंट को दे दिया और मैं छुट्टी मनाने चले गए. और जब वापस आया इटली से तो एजेंट का फोन आया कि मैंने आपकी किताब बेच दी है. तो कहता मैं बहुत नाराज हुआ. मैंने कहा अभी तो उसमें मेरे को और भी चेंजेस करने थे, तो इतनी पॉलिश नहीं की थी मैंने. कितने में बिकी है? सो देन ही सेड के 500,000. तो कहता फिर मैं संतुष्ट हो गया कि नहीं, बहुत अच्छा किया तुमने, बेच दिया.
Okay, so definitely guys, there's a lot to talk about, but the time limit has to be there. So definitely we will plan another episode with sir, because बहुत सारी ऐसी बातें मुझे ऐसा लगा कि जो कि हम और कर सकते थे. In fact बहुत सारे भी और टॉपिक्स थे, but this episode has to be come to an end. So thank you so much sir, and
thank you, Gaurav. Very nice to talk to you.
Pleasure sir. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode, and if you do, then do follow our podcast Reading the Author. मोरोवर आप बुक खरीदने के लिए अमेजोन पे जाए, वहाँ पे सर्च करें राजेश तलवार, सर की सारी बुक्स आ जाएंगी. जरूर खरीदें, पढ़ें और अपने चाहने वाले जानने वालों के साथ जरूर शेयर करिएगा. थैंक यू सो मच सर फॉर कमिंग इन आवर शो. इट वाज माय ऑनर टू बी एबल टू होस्ट इट टुडे.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you very much for asking very interesting questions, and hope to be in touch with you again soon.
Definitely sir, definitely.